Have you ever found yourself feeling a little weaker each day? Or maybe those little slips and stumbles have started happening more often. It's easy to blame it all on getting older. After all, isn't that just what aging looks like? But what if I told you it's not just about age? What if the real reasons behind those struggles are something most of us never even notice? Many seniors quietly face these changes alone, thinking it's just part of the deal. But the truth is that some of these challenges are often overlooked, underestimated, or misunderstood. The good news? They don't have to define how you live your golden years. There's more to the story, something you might not have considered before. In today's video, I want to share with you 5 eye-opening truths about love in old age that go beyond the usual ideas. These aren't just feel-good ideas. They come from real experiences and a bit of science too. By the end, you'll discover simple ways to nurture the most important relationships in your life and why waiting too long to embrace love can cost more than you think. So, if you've ever wondered how to keep love alive and meaningful no matter your age, stay with me. This could be the most important conversation you have today. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Truth 1. Emotional intimacy matters more than physical. It often starts so quietly you hardly notice it. You sit across from your spouse or partner at the breakfast table. The toast is a little too dry, and the coffee a little too bitter. They ask how you slept. You say, fine. You ask how they're feeling. They nod. And then the conversation shifts to errands, to medications, to doctor appointments, to the neighbor's cat again sneaking into the yard. You think to yourself, when was the last time we talked? Not about groceries or bills or the ache in your knees, but talked about dreams, memories, fears, about how you're doing, truly. This kind of emotional drifting happens to so many couples as they grow older. It's not because of a lack of love. It's not even because of conflict. It's because we start to believe that once the fire of youth has cooled, there's not much left to say. After 30, 40, or even 50 years together, everything meaningful has already been spoken. But what if that's not true? What if, instead of love fading with age, we've simply stopped tending to the part of it that matters most, emotional intimacy? Most people assume physical affection is the heartbeat of love. And yes, when we're younger, it often is. But in later life, when bodies change, when health becomes uncertain, when energy dips, something else steps in to carry the weight: the emotional bond. Science backs this up. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that emotional connection, not physical touch, is the #1 predictor of life satisfaction among older couples. Why? Because emotional intimacy is what keeps us feeling seen, heard, and valued. And as we age, that deep sense of being understood becomes even more important than ever. Think of it like this. Physical touch may be the spark, but emotional closeness is the warmth that lasts through the night. But emotional intimacy isn't just about talking more. It's about being more present, more open, more curious about each other, even after decades of knowing someone. So how do we build it, especially when routines have become quiet and habits long settled? Here's something simple you can try, something I call the 10-minute window. Once a day, choose a time where there are no distractions. No phones, no TV, no background noise. Maybe it's over a cup of tea in the evening, or during a walk after lunch. And then, for 10 minutes, just talk. But not about the usual things. Ask, what made you smile today? Or, what's something from your childhood you don't talk about much? Or even, what's something you've never told me before? At first, it might feel awkward. Like you're pulling open a door that's been stuck for years. But give it time. Little by little, those small windows open into something much bigger. Connection, laughter, tears. All the colors of a bond renewed. Let me tell you about someone who tried this. Margaret and Tom had been married for 52 years. They raised 3 children, and weathered job losses, illness, and the slow, sweet climb into retirement. But lately, Margaret had felt alone. Not lonely, she said, but alone, even when he's right beside me. Tom wasn't unkind. He helped with dinner, took out the trash, and remembered to pick up her pills. But the words between them had thinned. One evening, she asked him to sit outside with her on the porch. Just 10 minutes. No agenda. No to-do lists. She asked him what he remembered most about their first date. He smiled, surprised. "Your yellow dress," he said. "And how nervous I was when I reached for your hand." That night, they talked longer than they had in years. About their wedding day. About their fears for the future. About the little things they never said aloud but always felt. It didn't fix everything overnight. But Margaret said, "It reminded me that the man I fell in love with is still right here. And he wants to be seen, too." That's what emotional intimacy gives us. Not the spark of first love, but the quiet comfort of knowing someone sees your soul and still chooses to sit beside you in the quiet. You don't need dramatic gestures or heart-pounding passion. You don't need to look like you did at 25 or move like you did at 40. You just need to be there, fully listening, asking, sharing. And maybe that's the most beautiful thing about love in old age. It's not about chasing what once was. It's about embracing what still is. And discovering that even now, your heart has more to give and more to receive than you ever thought possible. So if you're sitting across from someone who's shared the better part of your life, I invite you to lean in. Not with a grand speech. Not with a dozen roses. But with a simple question, how are you? Because the truth is, love never stops growing if we don't stop tending to it. And emotional intimacy. That's the soil where it all takes root. Don't wait until silence becomes the norm. Don't assume you already know everything there is to know about your partner. Don't let habit replace the heart. Start small. Start soft. But start now. Because sometimes the most important words aren't "I love you." They're "I see you," "I hear you," and "I'm still here." And that, at any age, is the kind of love worth holding on to. Truth 2. Regret hurts more than rejection. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Have you ever lain awake at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about the things you wish you'd said or done, words left unspoken, hugs not given, a phone call never made? For many of us in our later years, these quiet regrets creep in when the world is dark and the house is silent. It's almost as if the older we get, the heavier these little moments can feel. Maybe you've had a falling out with a friend, but pride, or fear, kept you from reaching out. Maybe you meant to apologize to your partner after a silly argument, but you thought, tomorrow will be a better day. Maybe, just maybe, you held back an "I love you," worried about how it would sound or whether it was even needed after so many years. And now, sometimes, there is no tomorrow. We grow up thinking rejection is the greatest pain. It stings when someone turns us away, when a hand is not held, when an invitation is declined. It feels personal, like a closed door in our faces. We protect ourselves, especially as we get older, believing that it's better to stay safe and silent than risk being turned down or misunderstood. Why put my heart on the line now? We ask ourselves. What if it's too late? But what if that belief is wrong? What if, as time passes, it's not the sting of rejection that haunts us, but the ache of regret? What if the pain of never saying what we needed to say is far greater than the discomfort of hearing a no? Science has begun to back up what many older adults know in their hearts. In a study published in the journal Emotion, researchers found that as people age, their most significant regrets are not about what they did, but what they didn't do. Missed chances for connection, unsaid apologies, withheld affection. The researchers called this the tyranny of inaction. Over time, the memory of rejection fades, but regret can linger like a shadow, growing heavier with every year. Let's look at why this happens. When you risk reaching out, even if it doesn't work out, you gain clarity and closure. The pain is sharp, but it fades. When you never try, your mind spins endless what-ifs. You fill in the blanks with your fears and doubts. That uncertainty can last a lifetime, quietly eroding your sense of peace. So what can you do about it? The answer is simple, but it takes courage. Don't wait. If there's something in your heart, a word of love, an apology, a memory you want to share, say it. Do it. Don't put it off for another week or wait for the right moment. There is no perfect time, especially as we grow older. The right time is now. You don't need grand gestures or fancy words. Sometimes, the most healing sentence is a simple, "I'm sorry." Or, "I miss you." Or, "You mean the world to me." Even if your voice trembles, even if your heart pounds, say it anyway. Let me tell you about a friend of mine named Richard. He and his brother Paul hadn't spoken in over a decade. It started over a misunderstanding, a family will, a difference of opinion about their parents' care, the kind of argument that simmers and grows until neither remembers who was right or wrong. Years went by. Holidays were missed. Birthdays passed with only a card, never a call. Richard always thought, "I'll reach out next month after things calm down. I'll write him a letter, just as soon as I find the words." But months turned into years, and one winter morning, Richard got a call from Paul's daughter. His brother had passed away suddenly, a heart attack in his sleep. "I can't tell you how much I regret not picking up the phone," Richard said quietly. "All those years, I was afraid of being rejected. I thought he might not want to hear from me. Now I'd give anything for just one more awkward conversation." Richard's story isn't unusual. So many people carry these regrets, the words unspoken, the forgiveness unoffered, the love held back for fear of embarrassment. But here's the thing, most of the time, when we do reach out, we're met with understanding, even gratitude. And if we're not, at least we know. At least we tried. And that makes all the difference. If you're sitting there now, thinking of someone you've lost touch with or a loved one you've hurt, I encourage you, be brave. Write a letter, even if you never send it. Make the call, even if it goes to voicemail. Visit if you can. Because even if things don't turn out perfectly, you'll have freed your heart from the burden of what might have been. You don't have to fix everything overnight. You don't have to say the perfect thing. Just take one small step toward honesty and connection. Start with, "I've been thinking about you," or, "There's something I need to say." Often, that's all it takes to open the door again. And if you're worried about how you'll be received, remember, you're not alone in feeling this way. Nearly everyone wishes they'd taken more risks with their heart, not fewer. The people you care about may be hoping for a sign from you, too. As we age, we realize that time is precious, and the greatest pain is not rejection, but missed opportunities to love and be loved. So give yourself the gift of peace. Let go of the fear of rejection, and choose to live without regrets. Maybe you'll be surprised. Maybe you'll discover that the wall you thought was impenetrable is only as high as your hesitation. Maybe the person you reach out to has been longing to hear from you all along. Or maybe, if nothing else, you'll give yourself the comfort of knowing you tried. You spoke your truth. You honored your heart. Here's what I want you to remember. Regret can last a lifetime. Rejection, even if it stings, is fleeting. Don't let pride or fear or the passage of time steal another day from you. Say what you need to say, today. And if you're feeling the weight of regret already, know this, it's never too late to make things right. A simple call, a kind word, and a heartfelt letter can bring healing to even the oldest wounds. So take a breath. Reach out. Do it for yourself, and do it for the people who matter most. Because at the end of the day, it's not the no's that haunt us, but the chances we didn't take. If you do, I promise, you'll sleep a little better tonight, and wake up tomorrow lighter, freer, and more at peace. Truth 3. Love can begin again, at any age. There's a certain silence that settles in when you lose someone you love, a partner, a spouse, a companion who shared your every day. At first, it's the sharp, empty echo of footsteps in the hall. The coffee pot makes too much, the bed feels too wide, and the world suddenly seems a little more distant, a little colder. Friends and family call, send cards and drop by for a meal or two. But eventually, life resumes its usual pace, and you're left with the quiet. For many older Americans, this is a familiar ache, a loss that seems impossible to fill. We're told that great love only comes once. Movies, songs, and even our friends sometimes say, you only get one soulmate. After a certain age, most people imagine that chapter is closed. I had my turn, you might think, and now I'll just get used to being alone. There's a kind of comfort in this story. It keeps you from risking disappointment and lets you honor the memory of someone you cherished. But what if that belief is only half true? What if the heart, no matter how old, still yearns for connection? What if, even after deep loss, love can find its way back into your life in a new, gentle, and unexpected form? Research in the field of gerontology has shown that the desire for connection doesn't fade with age. It simply changes. The University of California conducted a long-term study on older adults and found that those who entered new relationships after 60 reported greater happiness, better health, and even a renewed sense of purpose. The study didn't just focus on romance. It looked at deep friendships, new companionships, and yes, even falling in love again. It turns out that the human heart is incredibly resilient, capable of healing, opening up, and learning to trust and hope once more. Yet, many seniors hesitate. There's a worry that looking for new love somehow betrays the past, or that starting over is only for the young. I'm too set in my ways, some say. Who would want to start something at my age? Others fear gossip or disapproval from family. The world can be quick to judge and slow to understand. But love in later life is not about erasing memories or replacing someone irreplaceable. It's about honoring all the chapters of your story, past, present, and the ones you still have left to write. Every connection is unique. Every relationship brings new joys and new lessons. The best ones do not compete with what came before. They simply add warmth and color to the days ahead. How, then, does one open the door to new love? It doesn't have to begin with grand gestures or online dating. It can start small, with a smile at a neighbor, joining a local book club, or saying yes to a Sunday morning coffee invitation. Sometimes, love begins as simple companionship, a friend for the movies, a partner for long walks, someone who remembers your favorite stories and asks about your day. Let me share a story about Eleanor, a retired schoolteacher from Vermont. After her husband passed, she moved to a smaller apartment to be closer to her daughter. Life slowed down. She knitted, watched old movies, and filled her days with quiet routines. One afternoon, she attended a community gardening class, a gentle push from her daughter, who worried she was spending too much time alone. At the class, Eleanor met Joseph, a widower who had once worked as a mail carrier. Their first conversations were about tomatoes, then about the weather, and eventually about their grandchildren. Over the months, their friendship grew. They started sharing rides to church, then dinners, then holidays. It wasn't fireworks or roses or whirlwind romance. It was laughter, kindness, and an easy comfort, a companionship that slowly blossomed into love. Eleanor once said, "I never thought I'd feel butterflies again. But every time I see Joseph waiting outside my door with his old cane and crooked smile, I feel young at heart. Love found me when I stopped searching for it and started living again." If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If you've been hesitant to open your heart to new relationships, romantic or otherwise, know that you're not alone. The first steps can feel awkward, even frightening. It's normal to worry about loss, rejection, or what others might think. But the truth is, you deserve connection, affection, and joy at any age. Start small. Say yes to invitations, even if you're nervous. Reach out to old friends. Try a new activity, a painting class, a walking group, a volunteer shift at the library. Let yourself be seen and heard. And if someone reaches out to you, be open to the possibility that something special could grow. For some, new love means marriage. For others, it's holding hands at the movies or sharing soup recipes over the phone. Some people find love online, others at church, and some even through a chance encounter at the pharmacy. There's no right way or right time. The only mistake is to believe that your best years of love are behind you. And if you worry about what others think, remember, this is your story, your happiness, your heart. The people who truly care for you will want to see you smile again. You honor the memory of those you've lost not by closing yourself off, but by letting their love teach you to live more fully. Love at an older age comes with a special kind of wisdom. You know yourself better. You recognize what matters most: kindness, understanding, loyalty, shared laughter. The dramas of youth fade away, replaced by an appreciation for simple joys. Morning coffee, a sunset, the feeling of a warm hand in yours. If you find yourself alone today, remember, your story isn't over. Love can take many forms. A new friend, a gentle romance, a deep and lasting companionship. Sometimes, love returns when you least expect it, on a park bench, at a family barbecue, or through a note in your mailbox. Don't let age, fear, or grief convince you that your heart is done growing. Every sunrise is a new beginning, every season an invitation to hope. So here's my encouragement. If you feel even a flicker of hope or curiosity, follow it. Take a small step toward connection. Let yourself imagine what's possible, not just what's past. There's no expiration date on love, no age limit on joy. Your life is still unfolding, and love can still surprise you. And if you've already found new love, cherish it. Celebrate it. Let it remind you, and everyone around you, that the heart's capacity to love and be loved truly has no boundaries. In the end, it's not the years that count, but the courage to keep showing up, to keep opening your heart, no matter what. You're never too old, never too late, and never alone on this journey. Let love begin again, at any age. And let it remind you that life, no matter how many chapters have passed, always has room for one more beautiful story. Truth 4. The small gestures say the most. It's funny how, as the years go by, the grand moments in life seem to shrink, while the little things grow bigger in our memories. When we're young, we believe love means sweeping declarations, wedding vows, anniversary surprises, a dozen roses delivered on Valentine's Day. But with time, we realize that the real foundation of love is built on moments so small, they're almost invisible. Quiet habits, simple acts, a touch or a glance that says more than any words ever could. Think about your daily life now. Maybe your joints aren't what they used to be, and those long walks you once took with your spouse are a bit shorter these days. Perhaps you don't exchange love notes or gifts anymore. Maybe, on the surface, your routines look ordinary, even dull. But beneath it all, there's a rich, silent language being spoken. It's in the way you pour your partner's coffee just the way they like it, the way you tuck in the blanket around their feet, or the way you remember to buy their favorite brand of peanut butter, even if you don't like it yourself. We often don't give ourselves credit for these small gestures. They're so woven into the fabric of our days that we hardly notice them, until one day we do. Maybe you feel invisible sometimes, or wonder if the effort you put into these little acts even matters. You might catch yourself thinking, it's just habit now, does it even mean anything? But what if these habits are exactly where love has decided to live as we grow older? Let's challenge an assumption so many people hold, that love needs to be shown in dramatic ways to be real or memorable. Is that really true? Could it be that, as the years pass, it's the small things, done quietly, consistently, and with care, that speak the loudest? Are we missing the power of our own daily kindness because we expect love to always look like the movies? There's real science behind the magic of small gestures. Relationship experts and psychologists have found that couples who perform little acts of kindness for each other, simple things like making a cup of tea, remembering a story, or even a gentle pat on the back, are significantly happier and feel more connected than couples who rely only on big, occasional displays. Dr. John Gottman, a leading researcher on marriage, calls these acts the glue of a lasting partnership. Over decades of study, he found that the strongest relationships were not those filled with fireworks and drama, but those built on countless, almost unnoticed acts of care and attention. Why does this matter even more as we age? Because as our lives slow down and our worlds grow a bit smaller, those everyday moments are no longer background noise, they become the melody of our days. Health issues might keep us home more. Friends may be farther away. Family visits come and go. But our routines, and the loving gestures within them, remain steady. They offer comfort, stability, and a silent reminder, you matter to me. I see you. I'm here. So how can you honor these small gestures and bring more of their quiet magic into your life? It doesn't require more energy or money, just a bit of mindfulness and gratitude. Start by noticing the tiny things you and your loved one do for each other, even if they seem insignificant. Say, thank you. Smile when they hand you your favorite mug. Squeeze their hand when they pass you your reading glasses. These moments might seem small, but together, they create a powerful sense of belonging and affection. Here's an idea. Each evening, before bed, Think of one little thing your partner did for you that day and tell them. It could be something as simple as turning down the bed, bringing you your slippers, or calling you to remind you to take your medicine. By recognizing these moments, you both start to realize just how much love is present, quietly working in the background. Let me share a story with you, one that shows how a tiny gesture can hold a lifetime's worth of love. Mary and Jack were married for 55 years. In their early days, Jack would leave notes for Mary in her lunchbox. Little doodles, a silly joke, or a simple, "I love you." As years passed, those notes faded away. Life got busier, the children grew up, Jack retired, and they both fell into gentle routines. When Mary fell ill later in life, Jack became her primary caregiver. Each morning, he would make her oatmeal and slice her apples just so, because she preferred them thin, with the peel removed. He never said much about it. One day, their daughter asked Mary what she missed most about her old life. Mary smiled and said, "I miss the notes Jack used to leave me. But you know what? Every morning, when I see those apple slices, I feel the same love. Maybe even more." After Mary passed, Jack kept that habit. He would slice apples, sit at the table, and remember all the little things they did for each other. The world saw only a quiet old man with a plate of apples, but Jack knew. He was holding on to 55 years of small, silent gestures that had become the language of their love. This is the gift of growing older with someone. The words may grow fewer, the steps slower, but the love, if you let it, grows deeper. It wraps itself around your life in small, everyday ways, until you realize you're surrounded by it. So today, I encourage you to celebrate the little things. The cup of tea, the shared crossword puzzle, the gentle nudge to put on your warm socks, the listening ear at the end of the day. These gestures say, "I notice you. I care." And that's all anyone ever really wants, no matter their age. If you ever doubt the value of these daily acts, remember this. Grand gestures may turn heads, but small gestures turn hearts. They remind us that we are cherished not just for what we do, but for who we are every single day. Let's not wait for a holiday or anniversary to show appreciation. Start now. Look for the small ways you and your loved ones care for each other. Give thanks, give a smile, give a gentle squeeze of the hand. Let those small gestures fill your days with meaning. In the end, it's the ordinary moments, the unwrapped gifts of kindness, that create the love stories we carry with us forever. And every day offers a new chance to say the most important things, without ever saying a word. Truth 5. Time is the most precious gift. There's a moment that comes for all of us, often in the quiet of an ordinary afternoon, when we look at the clock, or the calendar, and realize just how quickly time has passed. Maybe it's when you see an old photograph of yourself, younger and carefree, or when a grandchild's birthday rolls around and you wonder how they've grown so fast. Maybe it's in the hush of early morning, sitting with a cup of coffee and remembering loved ones who are no longer there to share it with you. For many seniors, this awareness of time is sharper than ever. We start to count seasons by the changing leaves in the yard, not by the deadlines at work. We notice how each sunrise feels like a gift, each sunset a quiet blessing. The world may still rush by outside, traffic lights, emails, news headlines, but inside, life slows down and becomes more precious, more deliberate. And yet, how often do we find ourselves caught up in bureaucracy work, letting the hours slip away unnoticed? Even in retirement, days can become filled with errands, doctor's appointments, household chores, and endless lists. Sometimes, we put off the things that truly matter. Sitting together on the porch, calling an old friend, sharing a story with our partner, because we think there will always be more time. But here's a gentle truth that comes with age. Time is the one thing we can never get back. Unlike money or possessions, you can't earn more or save up extra for later. Once a moment is gone, it's gone for good. The regret that comes from missing these moments can be deep and lasting, but the joy that comes from cherishing them is a gift beyond measure. Have you ever found yourself looking back and wishing you'd spent more time with someone you loved? Maybe you remember the times you hurried through dinner so you could get to the next chore, or the times you pushed aside a conversation because the television was on. Maybe you wish you'd taken that trip, lingered at the park, or listened just a little longer to a loved one's story, even if you'd already heard it 100 times. We sometimes believe that showing love means buying gifts, planning big celebrations, or making sacrifices. But what if the most precious gift we can give is simply our time and attention? What if, in these later years, the greatest act of love is sitting together in quiet companionship, with no agenda except to share the minutes and hours of our lives? Research from the Stanford Center on Longevity has found that older adults who regularly spend quality time with loved ones, spouses, children, friends, experience lower rates of depression and greater overall life satisfaction. It's not the grand gestures that matter most, but the consistent, gentle presence of someone who cares. Being truly present, without distraction or hurry, is what deepens connection and creates memories that last. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So how can we give this gift more freely? Start by noticing how you spend your days. Are you rushing from one task to another, or do you make space for moments of togetherness? Consider creating daily rituals: morning coffee on the porch, an afternoon walk, and sharing a favorite song after dinner. These rituals don't have to be fancy. What matters is that you show up for each other, wholeheartedly, without distraction. If you find yourself pulled away by worries or to-do lists, try this. Put down the phone, turn off the TV, and look your loved one in the eye. Ask them about their day, their dreams, their memories. Listen. Listen. Let your time together be the main event, not just something squeezed in between other priorities. Let me tell you about Walter and June, a couple from Ohio who celebrated their 62nd wedding anniversary not with a lavish party, but with a simple tradition. Every evening, just as the sun began to set, they would sit on their front steps together and watch the light fade from the sky. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they held hands, sometimes they simply sat side by side in silence. Their family used to tease them, "Don't you get bored doing the same thing every day?" But Walter would just smile and say, "These are the moments I'll remember. This is our time." One evening, their granddaughter asked June, "What's the secret to being happy together for so long?" June thought for a moment and replied, "We never stopped making time for each other. No matter what else was happening, we always shared this little bit of the day. That's what kept us close." It's easy to believe that there will always be more time. But as the years pass, we learn that the most cherished moments are often the quietest ones. The hours spent in simple company, the afternoons lost in conversation, the unhurried laughter shared over old memories. These are the treasures of a life well lived. If you have loved ones near, give them the gift of your time. If you're missing someone far away, reach out: a phone call, a letter, a visit. If you're spending more time alone these days, don't forget to give that same gift to yourself. Savor your routines, honor your memories, and find joy in the present moment. And if you're worried that your time together isn't special enough, remember, it's not about what you do, but that you do it together. The world may not notice, but your heart will. These simple acts of presence are how we say, "You are important to me. I want to share my days with you." Let's not wait until the calendar is full or the perfect occasion arrives. Let's not let the little distractions of life rob us of what matters most. Instead, let's slow down. Let's be generous with our attention, kind with our words, and patient with each other. The years move quickly, but love can slow time down, if only for a moment. Every cup of coffee shared, every walk in the park, every quiet evening spent side by side, these are the gifts that endure. And in the end, when we look back, these are the moments we'll remember, the ones that made life sweet. So if you're sitting here today, thinking of someone you care about, don't wait. Give them a bit of your time. Call them, visit, write a note, or simply sit together in silence. The world is always busy, but you have the power to make time stand still, if only for a little while. Because time, once given, can never be taken away. It is the most precious gift we have to offer, and the one we will always cherish most. As we come to the end of our conversation today, I hope these 5 simple truths about love and old age have touched your heart and perhaps reminded you of something you already knew deep down. Love doesn't fade as the years pass. It simply changes shape. Sometimes it grows quieter and softer, but it becomes deeper and more meaningful than we could have ever imagined in our youth. Maybe you saw yourself in these stories, the longing for deeper connection, the ache of old regrets, or the quiet hope that it's never too late to find love, or to love more fully. Perhaps you recognize the power of small gestures or were reminded of how precious each shared moment truly is. No matter where you find yourself on this journey, know that your capacity for love is still vast, and your life is rich with opportunities for connection, healing, and joy. Don't wait for tomorrow to say what's in your heart. Don't let fear, pride, or routine rob you of the chance to give and receive love today. Whether it's a gentle touch, a kind word, a simple "I'm thinking of you," or just sitting together in silence, these moments are the true treasures of growing older. If today's video has inspired you, I invite you to share it with someone you care about or leave a comment below with your thoughts and experiences. Let's keep reminding each other that love truly has no age, and that it's never too late to start living and loving with an open heart. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. Wishing you peace, happiness, and love that grows deeper with every year.